We all know how much our pets mean to us, but sometimes we don't realize just how fragile they can be until something goes wrong. Take my dog, for example. A few weeks ago, something happened that scared me more than I could ever have imagined. He became dehydrated. It started like any other normal day. We went on our usual morning walk, and I thought everything was fine. He seemed happy, wagging his tail, sniffing around, and enjoying the fresh air. But by the time we got home, I noticed he wasn't acting the same. He was lethargic, not drinking water, and seemed to be struggling with his usual energy. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach. Something was off. I didn't know it at the time, but he was suffering from dehydration. Dehydration in dogs isn't something you want to mess around with. If not addressed, it can lead to serious complications and even become life-threatening. I felt guilty. How had I missed the signs? It wasn't until I saw his dry gums, the sunken eyes, and his lack of interest in food or water that I realized how serious this was. That's when I knew I had to act fast. As pet owners, we have the responsibility to keep our pets healthy, but we sometimes miss the warning signs of dehydration, especially when it's subtle. What's worse, dehydration can sneak up on you without much warning. It's a silent danger that can be easily avoided, but only if we know the signs and take action early. So, what exactly is dehydration in dogs? Dehydration occurs when your pet loses more fluids than they are taking in. It's common in hot weather or after exercise, but it can happen in various situations like illness, fever, or even simply not drinking enough water. And, let me tell you, it can be a silent killer if we don't pay attention. The day my dog got dehydrated taught me an important lesson. I realized that pet care is more than just feeding them, taking them for walks, and giving them treats. It's about being vigilant about their health, noticing the small signs, and taking immediate action. I wasn't prepared for the panic that set in when I realized what was happening, but I knew I had to step up. If you've ever faced a situation like this with your own pet, you know how helpless it can feel. But here's the good news. Dehydration is preventable, and it's treatable if you catch it early. And that's exactly what I did for my dog. In this video, I'll take you through exactly what happened, how I noticed the signs of dehydration, and how I managed to rehydrate him safely. By the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of dehydration in pets, how to recognize the signs early, and most importantly, how to keep your pet safe. Trust me, it's a lot easier than you think. When I realized my dog was dehydrated, panic set in. I started wondering if I had waited too long to help him, if I had missed the signs, or if I could have done something sooner. Dehydration in pets is often overlooked, especially when it happens gradually. At first, you might just think your pet is tired or having an off day, but dehydration can take a toll without you even realizing. And that's what makes it so dangerous. You can't always tell by looking at them, especially if they're acting somewhat normal in the beginning. The longer you wait, the worse the situation can get, and the consequences can be severe. Dehydration affects your dog's organs and tissues, leading to problems like kidney damage, shock, and in extreme cases, death. These are things I didn't want to face, and I knew I had to take action. But there's more to dehydration than just giving your dog a bowl of water and hoping for the best. Rehydrating a dog isn't as simple as pouring water into a bowl. There's a process that needs to be followed carefully to ensure it's done safely. When dehydration sets in, your dog might not feel like drinking. Even if you offer them water, they may not take it because their body is too weak or their system is too compromised to absorb it properly. I had to figure out a way to get my dog to drink water without causing him more harm. One of the first things I did was check his hydration level. You can do this by gently pinching the skin at the back of your pet's neck and pulling it up. In a well-hydrated dog, the skin should snap back into place quickly. But with dehydration, the skin stays tented or takes longer to return to its original position. I could see that my dog's skin was staying up for a bit longer than usual, which confirmed my suspicions. But I also knew I couldn't waste any more time. If dehydration isn't treated, it can lead to worse issues like kidney failure, heat stroke, or even shock, so I had to act fast. The first step was to get him to drink water, but I also knew that water alone might not be enough. Dehydrated dogs can lose not only water but also electrolytes like sodium, potassium, and chloride. These are vital to your pet's health, and replacing them is just as important as replacing the fluids. I didn't want to make any mistakes, so I researched how to properly rehydrate a dog. I found that it's best to use a special electrolyte solution made for pets, which you can get from most pet stores or your vet. If your dog refuses to drink, you may need to use a syringe or dropper to slowly administer the fluid to them, ensuring they don't inhale or choke. I was careful to do this slowly, making sure not to overwhelm him or make him too uncomfortable. The situation was still tense. I could see he was struggling, but at least I knew I was doing everything I could. As I began to administer the fluids, I felt a small sense of relief. The water started to make a difference, but the tension didn't completely fade. I kept an eye on his breathing, his gums, and his overall condition, wondering if I was doing enough. Was it too late? Would he bounce back from this? Every second felt like a lifetime, and the fear of not being able to fix the problem in time loomed over me. If you've ever been in a situation like this, you know exactly how I felt. You can't help but wonder if you're doing the right thing, if you're going to lose your beloved pet because of something that seemed so small at first. That's why it's so important to understand dehydration and take preventative measures. As I continued to administer fluids to my dog, the challenge was just beginning. Even though I was doing the right thing by giving him water and electrolytes, I knew I had to keep pushing forward. There were still moments of uncertainty, and I wasn't sure if he was out of danger yet. His energy levels were still low, and I could see how exhausted he was. The dehydration had taken its toll, and I felt helpless. But one thing I knew for sure was that I had to keep my head together and act strategically. The truth is, dehydration in pets is something that often goes unnoticed by pet owners until it's too late. That's why it's crucial to always be aware of the signs and act as soon as you notice any unusual behavior. This isn't a problem you want to face alone. One of the most important lessons I learned in this experience was that you don't have to be afraid to reach out for help. When in doubt, it's always a good idea to consult a veterinarian, especially if your pet is showing signs of severe dehydration. While I was taking care of my dog at home, I didn't hesitate to reach out to my vet. They walked me through some additional steps I could take to help my dog recover faster. This included offering him ice cubes to lick, as this could help increase his fluid intake without overwhelming his system. The vet also recommended adding some plain chicken broth to the water, as the flavor would encourage him to drink more. And it worked. As the hours went by, I started to notice some small improvements. His energy levels were gradually returning, and he was more interested in eating and drinking. The turning point came when he finally started to drink water on his own. It wasn't a lot, but it was enough to reassure me that he was on the road to recovery. Even though it was a struggle, I learned that patience and persistence were key. I had to keep encouraging him to drink, making sure he was staying hydrated and replenishing those lost electrolytes. But as I watched him slowly recover, I began to feel a sense of pride. I was doing everything I could to help him, and I knew that my actions were making a difference. As the days went on, my dog's health improved steadily, and I felt a wave of relief wash over me. The journey from the initial signs of dehydration to his full recovery was emotional. There were moments of fear, uncertainty, and even guilt. But in the end, I learned a valuable lesson about responsibility and love. When it comes to caring for our pets, it's not just about feeding them and keeping them comfortable. It's about knowing what to do in times of crisis, like when something as simple as dehydration threatens their well-being. The bond one share with my dog is unlike any other, and watching him bounce back after everything made me realize just how important it is to stay vigilant. By the time he fully recovered, I felt like I had grown as a pet parent. The experience taught me how much I'm capable of when it comes to caring for him. I was there for him in his time of need, just as he's always been there for me. Seeing him regain his energy, wagging his tail and playing around again, was the ultimate reward. It's moments like these that remind you how much your pet truly means to you. Taking care of a pet isn't always easy, but when you put in the effort, the rewards are endless. Watching my dog recover from dehydration strengthened our bond, and I became more determined than ever to provide him with the best care possible. As I reflect on everything, I want to encourage you, the viewers, to take this lesson to heart. Don't wait for a crisis to happen. Stay proactive in your pet's care and watch for the signs that something might be wrong. Your pet depends on you, just as mine depended on me, and together we can ensure that they live happy, healthy lives. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and tell us how you keep your pets hydrated and healthy. Stay tuned for more pet care tips that will help you become the best pet parent you can be.